What's up guys, Lonestar Patriot here. Thanks for joining me. So I did a recent review a couple months back on the Cannae Pro Gear Legion Day Pack. In fact, I absolutely love that pack. It's been my EDC pack for now the last couple months. So I was definitely looking forward to picking up another piece of gear from Cannae. And so what I purchased recently was their transport duffel bag. So what I like to do is show you some of the neat features of this bag. So let's jump inside and let's take a look. Okay, so starting with the exterior of this transport duffel bag, now let's first talk about the overall dimensions of this bag. So it measures 24.5 inches long by 13.5 inches wide by 11 inches deep or high. Now, it is made of a high quality Cordura nylon material, and the color that you see this in is actually their coyote color. However, it does also come in a black. Now, on top here, it does have a sturdy grab handle that is a Velcro keeper, of course, to retain the strapping from both sides to access this and pull it from the top. Now, if we move on to the front of this particular bag, now it does have a nice admin pouch here that is open and pretty much runs the full length of the bag as well as the full depth. But the nice feature about this side is it does have, of course, 2 rows of MOLLE webbing to add some additional capacity to the outside of the bag if you desire to do so. Now, if you look at the other side, the nice feature here is that it does have a meshed pocket. Again, it's the same dimensions as the other side, but this side is a mesh pocket. So for example, you can put small items that might be soiled, say from being sweaty or dirty, but that'll at least ventilate those particular items. And then there also is a drain hole here if you need it. Now, moving to the sides of this bag. So each side actually has a very sturdy grab handle here, which is certainly nice. And then for the strapping itself, it does have these nice Duraflex buckles. And then one thing to note is that the connection of the buckle to the bag does have one solid piece of nylon webbing that runs down the side, the bottom, as well as up the other side to help reinforce the strap. Now, if you look at this pocket on this side, again, this is just an open admin pocket here, which pretty much runs the width of the bag, of course, as well as the depth. And then on the other side, the same grab handle that we just looked at on the other side, and similar to the back side of the bag with that mesh pocket, you also have a mesh pocket here on the side, which is certainly nice. Now this is for larger items such as, say, dirty boots, or maybe your entire clothing might be soiled or wet, so you can certainly stuff items in here. And you have a lot of depth in terms of storing larger items that can keep them separated from the rest of the contents of your bag. Now, if we next look at the actual strap here, so it is certainly a nice, large, wide strap. It does have padding and ventilation on the bottom, so it's certainly comfortable with carrying your shoulder. Now, if you flip it over and look at the bottom just quickly, it does have these nice feet. Now, there is no reinforcement in the bottom of the bag, but at least this might help keep the bag elevated a little bit. Again, say if you have a wet terrain or maybe a rough terrain, to help prevent any kind of moisture or maybe snagging on the bottom of this material of the bag. So what I'd like to do now is let's take a look at the inside of the bag. Okay, so moving on to the interior contents of this transport duffel bag. Now, the first nice feature as I open this up is that the top panel fully opens up and out of the way towards the rear of the bag to where I can easily gain access with both hands to see what is inside this bag without having to fight with this top panel. Now, the second nice feature is that you can actually divide the interior of this bag to whatever you decide to do. So for example, it comes with these 2 dividers, which are Velcro backed, and there's also loop panels that are sewn into the sides of the bag on each side. So you have one here at the end, another one on this end, and then one in the center. And again, this is on each side of the bag. And so you can divide this up, again, to whatever you choose to do. So I've got this basically divided into thirds, but you could also, say, take both of these dividers out and have one open area, or potentially, say, remove a divider and maybe move one to the center to basically divide this bag in half. But again, you have multiple options and can customize it to whatever suits your needs. Now, the other nice feature about these dividers, like we saw on the left side of the bag as well as on the rear, is it does have these zippered mesh pockets to be able to visibly see what's inside of these pockets especially for smaller items. So for example, I've got, say, some tape here. I've also got, say, some thread locker, obviously, which is a small item, but it allows me to easily see what's inside these pockets without having to hunt around and fish for whatever I'm looking for, and also keeps those items from being lost inside the main compartments of this bag. So I used this bag actually yesterday at a range trip, so obviously what's in here is range related, but in terms of what you can store in here, in terms of size and weight, I wanted to show you. So on this left side, I've got, say, some 11 by 17 targets. I also had a couple of firearms, so I've got some spare holsters. I got some magazines, of course, loader here. And then in the center section, which is where the bulk of the weight is, I've got a 30 caliber ammo can. I've got another container for ammo. I've got a box of ammo. I also have, say, a Trijicon RMR case here for the optic. But this is where the bulk of the weight is in this bag. However, it's still comfortable to carry to and from the range. Now on this right side, I've got my larger medical kit. Of course, critical for anytime I go to the range. I also have a spare hat here. I've got my ear pro, and then I've also got a multi-tool. So essentially this bag can carry everything that I need for a range trip. All right guys, so right up today's review of the Cannae Pro Gear Transport Duffel Bag. Now, as I showed you earlier in the video, as I went through some of the unique features on the Transport Duffel Bag specifically, I want to talk more in general about the uniqueness of Cannae as a company. And that's probably one of the things I like the most. So Cannae thinks outside of the box in terms of their designs of their equipment and gear to suit the modern warfighter. Now obviously if it's suitable for the modern warfighter, it'll definitely be suitable for the everyday responsible citizen. Now again, going back to my Legion pack as my EDC pack, I've had nothing but good things to say about that. It's been a very durable and rugged pack thus far, and I expect nothing less from this Transport Duffel Bag. Now let's talk about value. So the price point on the Transport Duffel Bag retails right around $99. However, I was able to pick this up on sale through Cannae Pro Gear's website for $75. So even at the retail price point, I definitely think it's an exceptional value for the quality of the bag that you get. Now the only downside I'll say about the Transport Duffel Bag, and again this is a very nitpicky thing, but the zipper pulls, which are the same zipper pulls on the Legion pack, is that they're a little bit small for my liking in terms of getting a positive purchase on the zipper pull to open and close pouches on the bag. Now again, I can easily swap out those pulls with, say, some cordage to suit my needs. Now the last thing I want to say is that the customer service experience with Cannae directly has been nothing but excellent. Those are definitely a bunch of good dudes and are definitely interested in hearing your feedback on the equipment and gear that they sell. But thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and keep it the good fight. Now, what I did is actually picked it up. Starting with the outside of the Transport. Different from other bags on the market. Now, obviously, there's a lot of thought